All right, I will call to order the council meeting on September 27th at 7:30. First up is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alder Allen,
I am here.
Alder Rada
Here.
Alder Gerhardt,
Here.
Alder Herbst,
Here.
Alder Maldonado,
Here.
Mayor Richardson,
Here.
Alder Strassman,
Here.
Alder Udell,
Here.
Alder Wheeler.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next up is a couple of proclamations. First is proclaiming October 5th, 2022 as Energy Efficiency Day. Whereas by Resolution R2619, the Fitchburg Common Council approved the plan to address global climate change, identifying energy efficiency as a chief priority for Fitchburg. And whereas energy efficiency, defined as using less energy to perform the same tasks, is the cheapest, quickest, and cleanest way to meet Fitchburg's energy needs, avoid dangerous pollution, reduce utility bills for residents and businesses in our community. And whereas the energy efficiency industry supports over 2.2 million jobs in the United States, more than twice the jobs in fossil fuel industries. And whereas implementing energy efficiency and other clean energy policies and programs can help boost economic opportunities and job creation, reduce the burden of disproportionately high energy bills on lower income residents, making energy efficiency a driver of increased equity. And whereas the International Energy Agency has estimated that energy efficiency alone could help us to meet half of the emissions reduction targets set by the Paris Climate Accords. And whereas Wisconsin's Focus on Energy Incentive Program for Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy has returned over $5 in benefits to Wisconsin residents for every $1 invested in the program since 2001, delivering over $1 billion in net benefits to the state for the past decade. And whereas a nationwide network of energy efficiency groups and partners has designated the first Wednesday in October as National Annual Energy Efficiency Day. And whereas together we can continue to contribute to our sustainability efforts by learning more about energy efficiency and practicing smarter energy use in our daily lives. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Aaron Richardson, along with members of the Fitchburg Common Council, do hereby recognize October 5th, 2022 as Energy Efficiency Day in the city of Fitchburg, urging all Fitchburg residents to join us in pursuing energy efficiency as a means of achieving our clean energy goals and moving towards a more sustainable future. Proclaim this 27th day of September 2022. And I do have a few notes from our sustainability specialist, Phil Gruppe, and a couple of things here. As noted, the Council passed Resolution 2019 setting energy and greenhouse gas reduction priorities for the city of Fitchburg over the coming decades. And while the energy targets received the most attention from the resolution, equally important is the clause which reads as follows: given the city's first choice for meeting energy needs is energy efficiency measures that reduce both operating costs and carbon footprint, the city will prioritize energy efficiency and conservation as a means of rapidly reducing the need for centralized fossil energy generation. And so in the past few years, this focus on energy efficiency has taken a lot of different forms. One is a retro commissioning study that resulted in multiple upgrades to our HVAC and building lighting systems, a new fund created to assist with the purchase of more energy efficiency fleet vehicles, accelerated transition of outdoor lighting to LED fixtures, ongoing assessments of how Fitchburg can further reduce energy usage to save on costs and cut back on carbon emissions. And Fitchburg contributed to the creation of Dane County's 2020 Climate Action Plan, which stressed the importance of energy efficiency to our climate goals. The city has earned multiple Dane County Climate Champions Awards in 2020 for energy performance in city buildings. So the energy efficiency industry continues to grow at a rapid pace. Efficiency measures are an increasing focus of national legislation, such as the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, and also the Inflation Reduction Act. And they seek to meet our climate goals while also providing significant economic benefits. So as such, Fitchburg will continue to seek out opportunities to promote energy efficiency for both our businesses and our residents through promotion of the state's highly successful focus on an energy incentive program, but also other partnerships and opportunities. And staff will continue to periodically review the city's buildings, fleet, and infrastructure for potential efficiency improvements. So again, he just passes along his thank you for our citywide recognition of this very important national effort. All right, one more. We are also recognizing the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples Day in Fitchburg. Whereas Native Americans have inhabited this continent and this region since time immemorial, with Wisconsin being home to 11 federally recognized Native nations and one federally unrecognized nation, and whereas Indigenous Peoples Day began in commemoration of 500 years of survival and renewal of Indigenous nations in the face of genocide, colonization, political, religious, and cultural repression, and whereas this Indigenous culture was disrupted and destroyed in Fitchburg and all parts of this hemisphere, and yet Indigenous people have survived. And whereas the City of Fitchburg will support Indigenous nations' struggles for social and environmental justice, religious freedom, and tribal sovereignty. And whereas the City of Fitchburg honors our country's Indigenous roots and history, and on this occasion we strongly encourage all businesses and residents to recognize, celebrate, and cultivate stronger relationships with Indigenous peoples and Native nations. Now therefore, I, Aaron Richardson, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, along with members of the Fitchburg Common Council, do hereby proclaim Monday, October 10th, 2022 as Indigenous Peoples Day in Fitchburg. Proclaim this 27th day of September, 2022. Yes.
I just want to make the suggestion that in future years we make an outreach to the members of the Ho-Chunk Nation to invite them when we make this proclamation, just because we're standing on Ho-Chunk land right now.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, we can go to mayoral appointments. We have a couple for Healthy Neighborhoods Advisory. First on the agenda is Jason Berkins, who's online. Jason, if you just want to give us a minute or two on why you're interested in this committee, that'd be great.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you tonight. My name is Jason Berkins. I live on Leopold Way. I appreciate being able to do this through Zoom. I recently had surgery, and I'm still recovering, so walking has been difficult. I want to thank Mayor Richardson for nominating me for the Healthy Neighborhoods Advisory Committee, and to the council for your consideration for the possible appointment to that committee. While I've only made Fitchburg my home recently this year in April, I'm a very civic-minded and public service-driven citizen, and I would really like to give back to the community and to my neighborhood. And I believe that the Healthy Neighborhoods Committee would be a great place for me to do that. I think it's a great idea, and I'd really like to get actively involved. Just a little bit of background about me. Professionally, I'm in business-to-business customer service and manufacturing. I work for Rare Minerals in Madison. My professional background has been in helping businesses find solutions and products to meet their operational needs. I served my town in Wilbraham, Massachusetts, on several town government boards and commissions. Twice I served as an elected member of the Housing Authority in that town. That commission maintains the state-funded affordable housing programs within the community. I also served on the Community Preservation Committee, which sought out, reviewed, and made recommendations to town executive board on community projects to be funded by the state. This funding was dispersed in several categories, including affordable housing, historical preservation, and parks and recreation. Additionally, I served for a time on the Parks and Recreation Committee in that town and the Cable Advisory Committee. It's my experience and passion for helping my community and my fellow citizens that I believe would be assets in the role as an active participant of the Healthy Neighborhoods Committee. I welcome any questions you might have, and I thank you again for your consideration for this position.
All right, thank you. Any questions at all, Joe?
Jason, thank you for applying and considering service. I was just, this isn't a question for Jason, but do we have his application? Because I can't seem to find it in my email. If
It should
oh,
be
it's in the packet.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
All right, anything else? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Jay to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Gabriella. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. All right, that is approved. Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you.
And we also have Ryan Hewlisman. Close, not close enough, probably. For also, we have one more opening in Healthy Neighborhoods, and to fill that one.
I also want to thank Mayor Richardson for the appointment and the council for considering me. A little bit about myself. I've lived in the Renaissance on the Park neighborhood for about 3.5 years now. I am a part of the portion of the neighborhood that is primarily Habitat for Humanity homes. So one of the things that really is important to me is community, because we all helped build each other's homes. So focusing on sustainability, on resilience, on making sure that the community has the resources that it needs is very important to me. As was in my application, I've spent many years volunteering with various organizations, including Free Bikes for Kids Madison. I've been their volunteer coordinator for shop nights now for 2 years, in addition to several years before that volunteering just in a straight volunteer capacity. Last year, my annual bike century that I ride every year to raise funds for local community organizations also helped raise funds to support the Friends of the Teen Centers of Fitchburg, to help hire youth to go through the community and to make sure that they are hearing from the community as to what those teen centers should be doing to support the community. So I've I've done those things. I'm also particularly interested in making sure that our land use is diversified and reflects access for all community members. And that's about it.
All right, any questions at all for Ryan? Or a motion?
Move approval.
Moved by Julia,
Second.
seconded by Gabriella. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, that's approved. Thank you. All right, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Jay,
Second.
seconded by Randy. Anything people want to take out separately at all? Seeing nothing, we can go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That is approved. Administrator's report.
Thank you. So we have 2 announcements for tonight. The Senior Center is excited to announce that thanks to a generous donor, any donation the center receives now through October 31st will be matched dollar for dollar up to $10,000 for the patio. The center is just about halfway to their goal of $50,000, and you can donate in person, by mail, or online by going to the Senior Center website. More information can also be found on the website. And then budget, so that was released on Friday. There is a special finance committee meeting next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. While it is a finance committee meeting, we encourage all of the council members to attend to hear the information and ask questions of the department heads.
All right, Julia, question.
Yeah, so I have a question. Do you have any update about the post office?
I do not, but I can find one.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, no, we can go forward. Randy, do you want to make a change to the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to move, if I can find it back in my paper here. Hang on. Under the standing committees, 8A, 1A, Resolution R-179-22, I'd like to move it up to
Right now?
now.
Second.
All right, seconded by Jay. All in favor of moving that up, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. All right, and then Julia, do you have a question?
Also, resolution, where we are, R-171-22, because we have some member of the public waiting.
Yeah, so after the park, all right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can move that to after
Second.
the park one, seconded by Gabriella. All in favor of moving that one up, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. All right, that is approved. And seeing no other changes to the agenda, we can go ahead. What's that? That's what just got moved first. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we can go right to the Veterans Memorial Park flagpoles and gazebo donation acceptance. So we've got, I don't know if Mark, you want to explain what's going on or not. You're welcome to. We have two people here, Mark Jones from Fitchburg to speak and answer questions, and also Mike Croft to answer questions if needed. And sorry. Actually, we do need to. Yes, we do need to do a motion first. It's finance. So, Randy, do you want to get a motion quick?
Motion to approve Resolution R-179-22, Veterans Memorial Park, Gorman Wayside, flagpoles and gazebo donation acceptance.
Second.
Sent by Jay. And all right, you want to give us a quick rundown of what you're doing?
Thank you. Mark Jones, 2266 South Saline Road, City of Fitchburg. I'm one of the members of the Veterans Park Committee, and we received a donation of some flagpoles that came through Oak Bank. They were from the Zor Shrine Center that's being demolished, and so we rescued them and put them to good use, thanks to the Public Works for placing them. And so we need your approval to accept them. And also we have a donor that is donating a gazebo and a kiosk that will allow, the gazebo will protect the kiosk. And it will allow to look up veterans' names and any information that's in the database. They don't ask for personal information, but if you volunteer that information, that's through the Department of Defense, I believe. And so you'll be able to look up people, not only from Fitchburg, but from anyone who served. So it's a national database that they use, and many of the veterans parks have them. So software comes through the Department of Defense. So.
I should have asked Randy, did finance approve?
Finance approved.
Okay. All right. Jay?
So would that be like a tablet or a laptop or?
No, it's a stationary kiosk that'll be in the middle of the gazebo. So so it's more protected. And so it's a pretty neat concept. And it's the gazebo will be in the circle of the rest of the stuff that's there. And we have some other monuments and benches that will hopefully go up. November 11th, which is Veterans Day, we're going to have, hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting and a little publicity to kind of show off what we've been able to do up there with private donations. There's been no city money spent on that park other than the maintenance in the park that they already did. But thanks to some very, very dedicated people who have donated and worked hard to build something nice.
Jim, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, thanks again, Mark and Mike. You heard me say this in finance, but I just think it's a special place. You know, I run by there, and, you know, when I run by, it really means something to me as an Army veteran that this has gone up and that we can honor those who have served the country. I mean, it just really means a lot to me, so thank you.
Thank you.
Shannon?
I was just wondering if you guys have gotten word on the structure that's going to be out yet. Do you guys have any word about that? That might be.
Mike is more well-versed on that than I am, but.
You know anything? Are you guys coming to any more? Have they told you anything yet?
The Army equipment?
Yeah.
We're still communicating, and they want more details constantly. So we're working with them, and they're very responsive. The Army static display program, and they're very responsive, which is very much appreciated. So we're still working on it. They haven't said no yet, but
we're inching
coming
forward.
anytime
it's a
soon.
good.
We're inching forward, which is, as you all can understand, in government, things don't always move as quickly as what we would like them to.
Yep.
And thank you both and the whole committee really for all your efforts. It's really a beautiful park that you really made a lot of great improvements to. It's a beautiful, it was nice already, but it's really stepped up.
Thank you.
Seeing nothing else, we go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay? All right, that's approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
All right, now we can go to the Cheryl Drive project. It's Public Works. Dave, do you want to do a motion?
Let me get paid down to it here.
And this needs to be 2/3 because it is, I think, well, it's projected, it's over budget, right? So it needs to be 2/3 vote.
I'll move approval of Resolution R 17122, accepting approval of Cheryl Drive Stormwater Improvements bid.
Second.
Seconded by Jim, I think. Did Public Works approve?
Public Works approved.
Did Finance approve? Oh, Randy. Seconded by Randy.
Finance approved.
All right, sorry. All right, do you want to speak to this, Dave?
Yeah, this is the Cheryl Drive itself, gets flooded on not necessarily heavy storms, and it's a regional problem covering a decent-sized watershed. I don't know if it was 80 acres or 100 acres, but mostly we can't convey the water fast enough down into McKee Farms Park based on the existing culvert crossing the road and the width of the swales, the width and depth of the swales. So, this proposal, it lays out how we're going to make those changes to alleviate this constant flooding that occurs in that area. The bids are much higher. As we got into it, we weren't sure what the solution would be. We thought maybe there was a quick fix, and as usual, there's not. So that reflects the much higher cost to make this necessary improvement or remediation.
All right. And we've got one person online and some other emails I'll read, but we'll go with the person online. We have Dana Jacobs here to speak to this. Go ahead, Dan.
Hi. I just was asking for you guys to hopefully approve this. It's been a long time coming. We've been working to try and get this repaired for about 7 years now since we moved in and realized what an issue it was our first year here. So, whereas I know we're probably one of the only homeowners where our actual property is affected because it does flood, during those heavy rains. We get about anywhere between 10 and 15 feet of water in our front yard. Not 15 feet tall, 15 feet into our yard. Sorry. I know that it is, as y'all know, Cheryl Drive is a main thoroughfare, a big connector between Richardson and the neighborhood out to Fish Hatchery, plus all of the activities which continue to grow and expand in McKee. There's a lot of traffic in this area now. So we've seen cars stalled, and it has been a problem for my understanding since the neighborhood was developed. I think it's been an issue from the very beginning. We've got our next door neighbor sent pictures, and I know I've sent them to the city of the flooding 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. So I'm just hopeful that you guys will support approving this and moving it forward. It's been postponed and pushed many times, and so we just wanted to just ask for you guys to hopefully support it and get this finished. So that was all.
All right, thank you. And I've got a few other emails we got from various people I will read quick. We have lived on the corner of, this is Joan and Tim Brown from Fitchburg. We have lived on the corner of Cheryl Drive and Rose Ellen for 30 years. Over this time, we have experienced major flooding from in front of our house to the corner of Cheryl and Richardson. The flooding is so extreme the cars have to turn around for fear of getting stuck. Our back and side yards have also taken the brunt of the heavy rain, not being able to drain properly, so it sits in ponds for days trying to soak in. It is time that the city does what is necessary to rectify the stormwater drainage issue. We also have an email from Robert Kamak from Fitchburg. I would like to voice my support for Amendment number 6 in the CIP number 4729, the Cheryl Drive Stormwater Improvements, increase funding for construction project, move to 2022, and I encourage the common council's approval. And also from Martin and Terry Jacoby from Fitchburg. I'm writing to request your wholehearted approval of funds for the Cheryl Drive stormwater improvements. As a resident of the affected 220-plus acre area, the improvements to the existing stormwater system are long overdue. My husband and I have lived at 2786 Richardson Street for the past 28 years and are well aware of the changes that need to be made to the Cheryl Drive stormwater drainage. With heavy rain, our backyard is literally a river of water spanning as much as 12 to 15 feet wide. We also abandoned our vehicle at the intersection of Richardson Street and Cheryl Drive and found it impassable due to the backup of water during storms. As taxpayers of the city of Fitchburg and affected residents, please approve the funds that will allow this long-standing issue to be fully and finally resolved. Thank you for your consideration. That is what I have for feedback from residents, and can open up to questions, comments from council members. Jay.
Yeah, Dave, I've got a couple of questions. I noticed the bids on this were quite far apart from about $900,000 up to about $1.5 million. Do we know what the difference is on those?
I cannot tell you off the top of my head. Is Bill on?
No, he's not.
Okay. I recall, Jim, I don't know if you were, it seemed like, and it indicated you see how busy the contractors are, and I think that was the main reason why that one was so much higher. Well, they're busy, and we'll put a flyer out there. Sometimes it hits.
Well, it was just quite a spread, so I wondered if we're looking at a major quality level difference, or...
I believe this contractor has worked for us before, in the city, is approved to work here, and it's not, Jay. It's not a outside of the slope and the size of the pipe. It's not a overly complex project. There's a lot of earth moving and street and culvert and things, but it's not a what I would consider an overly technical project. As always, they're very expensive, no matter how you look at it. But
yeah, what's our confidence level that this is going to solve the problem permanently?
I have a high confidence level. I think our engineer has communicated to us. If we had just looked at a small area, then it could be in doubt. But we looked at a pretty large area, that's feeding into this, and we looked at more than just this intersection's flooding. What can we do? The regional approach gives me a higher confidence that this will take care of it.
All right, Julia, go ahead.
So no, I want to ask my fellow alders to support this project. Gabriel and we have been working with this group of neighborhood from, I have been before you came to council to resolve this issue. I live close by that intersection, and I can tell you when it rains, sometimes the water is higher than the hydrant. Because there is only one outlet that collect all the rains and the water coming from Pembroke from the west to the east, and it's like on a slope. So there is only one inlet to collect all the water. The pipe under that inlet the diameter is not big enough to absorb all the water at the same time. So this is what is creating the flooding. So I think this is the time. I know there is a different, maybe $500,000 compared to what we put in the CIP, but construction cost, the size of the project now have increased, and we are going to fund most of this with ARPA funds. So I would like your support, guys.
Dave.
Jay, I would just add one thing. This is flooding on events that aren't real large.
Right.
And am I confident it'll take care of those? Yes. Will it 100-year storm? I make no guarantee on that, because I don't think we have any area in the city that we could say it might not, wouldn't necessarily ride through it. But the routine things that this is flooding for, it'll take care of it. If we get 6 inches in an hour, I think everyone knows all bets are off.
Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I spoke to Bill about like the rest of the city as far as stormwater, because if you read through the materials, it seems like this pipe was undersized for the amount of water that actually has to go through. And so, my concern being with infrastructure, and as we expand the city, what other areas are we going to have to worry about, as far as stormwater is concerned, because of, undersized piping or just not enough, channeling for the water. And Bill did say that there should be a plan, in the evaluation of other stormwater issues in the city. So hopefully that will come through and we can evaluate how we go forward with our future stormwater projects.
Randy?
Yeah, back to Dave's point, he's very correct about routine heavy rain. I've witnessed it out there as well. I've driven, and it is a bit surprising that this has been going on for so many years. I think it's well warranted to make this correction. So I'm supporting the resolution.
All right. Seeing nothing else, we can go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay? All right, that is approved.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Could I move that we move up agenda item 8C to present, so Matt, we could move that out of here.
Yes, that was I was going to ask someone to do anyway.
I move that agenda item 8C be moved up to present in the agenda.
I'll second.
Right, sent by Jay. All in favor of moving resolution R18322 up to now, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. All right, then that is moved up. And do you want to make a motion, Dave?
I'll move approval resolution R18322, amending the 2022 grants donations fund budget, police department bicycle patrol equipment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Randy. Did public safety approve?
Public safety approved.
Did finance approve?
Finance approved.
All right, and do you want to speak to this, Matt?
Well, as I thank you, Alder Herbst, for moving that up. I do appreciate it. But as stated in the Finance and Public Safety Committees, it's just another opportunity for us to utilize the ARPA funds provided by the state to our department to upgrade our extremely outdated patrol bicycle and to also bolster that initiative we have, especially with the addition of the neighborhood officer positions this year as well. That's going to be a useful tool for them as well as our current bike patrol officers. So does anybody have any questions on the bikes themselves?
Jim?
Thanks, Matt. Not the bikes themselves, but could you go over to some of the advantages of officers on bikes as far as
Sure. I mean, as especially from a community policing standpoint, they allow the opportunity for officers to be much more approachable, not only from a uniform standpoint, but from the fact that they're not sitting behind the wheel of a squad car, you know, with a window rolled up or anything like that. It gives them the opportunity to be much more interactive with the community to be much more interactive with them. Bicycles can usually get into spaces where squad cars typically don't and shouldn't be on certain special events and community outings. It just allows us a lot more functionality when it comes to community policing.
Thank you.
Julia?
Hi, Matt. So do you have any idea where you're planning to use this bicycle, in which neighborhood?
Well, right now we usually use them in our higher call volume neighborhoods, our healthy initiatives neighborhoods right now. We also use them during special events, previously Fitchburg days, but we use them at our community night out. I think that it's going to be a very useful tool in the Southdale neighborhood when the Town of Madison attachment does happen. And then once we eventually get more neighborhood officers, we'll have them strategically placed throughout the city. But it's going to be those neighborhoods that we have those higher calls for service and a higher need for us to interact with the community.
Seeing nothing else, we can go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay? All right, that's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now I think we can go back to the regularly scheduled agenda, and we're at Plan Commission. Randy?
Yes. Plan Commission. Motion to approve Resolution R-181-22, approving an affidavit of correction to the Highfield Reserve Plan to rename the portion of Fahey Glen south of Noble Drive to West Fahey Glen.
Second.
Sent by Jay. Did Plan Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved, yes.
All right, and what's this about?
Well, the city follows an addressing grid decreasing from north to south and decreasing from west to east. By following the process, addressing would not be consistent, creating confusion. So renaming Fahey Glen to West Fahey Glen will allow addressing in the 5300s, decreasing west to east. So it's really just a correction.
Make things a little easier to find, and
Correct, yeah.
where you're talking about Lacey Road could probably use the same thing.
Would have been nice if we could have done that.
Yeah, the state. All right. Any questions at all?
I'm keeping my mouth shut on that.
Moving to a vote then. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. That one's approved. Next one.
All right, next one, motion to approve Resolution R-182-22, authorizing the sale of remnant land, Outlot 2 of CSM 16005 at Coachella Drive and Fish Hatchery Road.
Second.
Sent by Dave. The Plan Commission approve.
Plan Commission approved,
The Finance approve.
Finance approved.
All right. What's this one?
All right, the city acquired Outlet 2 as part of the Fish Hatchery Road construction project. Outlot 2 abuts the UW Credit Union property at 2885 Fish Hatchery Road. The UW Credit Union wishes to expand and reconfigure its parking lot. The city has no future use of the property, and the UW Credit Union has presented an offer to purchase Outlot 2 for $172,934.20 at a prorated price which equates to the same dollar amount that the city purchased the lot for, which is $10.68 square foot. I'm waiting for Misty to see if that's correct.
She's totally listening to everything. Any questions at all? All right. Seeing none, we can go ahead to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That one's approved. Next one.
Next one, motion to approve Resolution R-190-22, CS-2468-22, approving certified survey map request CS-2468-22 by Eric Benkert, agent for Pomega Corporation, to approve a certified survey map subdividing one outlot into one buildable lot and one remaining outlot at property located off Lacey Road.
Second.
Sent by Jay. The Planning Commission approve.
Plan Commission approved.
And what's this one?
Pomega Corporation is proposing to construct a prefab greenhouse on proposed Lot 1. The greenhouse needs to be located adjacent to the existing culinary garden that supplies some of the produce used in the Pomega cafeterias. The current zoning requires the proposed lot to be 3 acres plus, and to connect with Lot 1, a flag is required to connect to a public street, Lacey Road. Flag meaning property for access.
All right. Yeah, flag lots look like a flag, but it's essentially one long driveway to a lot, which we try to avoid. But since Promega owns all that land, it's not really a concern. And if they ever do anything more with it, we'll ask them to change that and fix it. So. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. That is approved. Next one.
All right, the next one. Motion to approve Resolution R-191-22, CS-2467-22, approving certified survey map request CS-2467-22 by Dan Day, agent for D'Onofrio, Catetti and Associates, Inc., to approve a certified survey map subdividing one outlot into 3 total outlots.
Second.
Sent by Jade. The Planning Commission approve.
Plan Commission approved.
And what's it about?
Well, the applicants are proposing to subdivide the outlot partially to dedicate a portion to the public for parkland. I don't know if you want to elaborate further in that, but
This is over Crescent Crossing, I believe, right?
that's correct, yeah.
Any
What-
questions, Jade?
Wasn't this the area where we were talking about a dog park?
I believe so, yeah. And I think that part of the reason, if I remember right, I think they're splitting into the lots because one of them is where they want to put the mailboxes, and you can't put mailboxes on public land. And so that piece is staying with the development.
Right.
I know the post office is making you consolidate mailboxes as much as possible into one central spot where all the mailboxes are. Are there questions at all? All right, so we can go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. That one's approved. Next one, Randy.
All right, motion to approve Resolution R-192-22, CS-2469-22, approving certified survey map request, CS-2469-22, by Kari Randolph and Barbara A. Aaron, Revocable Trust, to approve a certified survey map to amend property boundaries for existing homes on East Hill Drive to build a new accessory structure.
Second.
Sent by Jay. Did Planning Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
And what's this one?
Well, let's see. The CSM request is for property associated with lots 4, 7 through 9 of Oak Haven Hills. Oak Haven lots 4 and 7 are both owned by Barbara Aaron. She would like to combine the two lots. Then the adjoining lot 9, owned by Kari Rosenbaum, she would like to shift the western property line by 10 feet. The property line shift would allow for a 2-car garage ultimately. All changes meet setback ordinances, and there is no impact on any other adjoining lot or lots.
Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That one's approved. Next one.
Motion to approve Resolution R-193-22, FP-2472-22, approving final plat request 2472-22 by Sherry Yu, agent for Fitchburg Lands LLC, to obtain final plat approval to replat 1 outlot into 10 buildable attached single-family lots in Terra Vesa.
Second.
Sent by Julia. Did Planning Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
And what's this one?
This is the property is located on Outlot 53 of Terra Vesa. The proposal is to independently replat Outlot 53 and 54 in the second edition of Terra Vesa to create 10 lots to build 10 attached single-family homes. Approving both proposals would create 20 lots for 20 homes, meaning I'll be referencing the next resolution. So that's where the 20 come in. It's one of those that kind of go hand in hand. So if you're wondering how I got the math there.
They've done this quite a bit over in Terra Vesa, where it's the zero lot line, owner-occupied product that has been popular out there.
Very popular, yeah.
All right. And don't see any questions, so I can say all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. That one's approved. Next one, Randy.
So this is very similar. Motion to approve Resolution R-194-22, FP-2473-22, approving final plat request FP-2473-22 by Sherry Yu, agent for Fitchburg Lands LLC, for final plat approval to replat 1 outlot in Terra Vesa into 10 buildable attached single-family lots.
Second.
Sent by Jay. Did Planning Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
It sounds like it's really the same thing as the last one, just a different lot.
Different lot, that's where you get the 20,
All right.
10 and 10.
All right. I'm guessing there's no questions on this one either, so I'm going to go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. That one's approved. And next one, Randy.
All right, here's the fun ones. And these are all kind of tied together, so just bear with me. Motion to approve Ordinance 2022-0-28, implementing the final attachment area of the town of Madison, and ordinance by amending Chapter 2, city boundaries, wards, aldermanic districts, and elections, and attaching to the city an area generally located west of Fish Hatchery Road, south of West Beltline Highway, east of Bryant Road, and north of Greenway Cross, hereinafter referred to as the Zimbrick area, adding Ward 22 to include the entire Zimbrick area and attaching Ward 22 to the 2nd Aldermanic District.
Sent by Julia. Did Planning Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
All right. And do you want to speak to this?
Yes, with the adoption of the intergovernmental agreement among the city of Fitchburg, town of Madison, and the city of Madison regarding boundary changes and other municipal service delivery, the final attachment of the portions of the town of Madison and the city of Madison accruing to the city of Fitchburg will be adopted into 3 ordinances. 2 areas of the town of Madison, the Zimbrick area, and the Southdale area will be attached to the city of Fitchburg. One area referred to as the Genesis parcel will be detached from the city of Madison, attached to the city of Fitchburg. The 3 individual votes to approve ordinances 2022 through -0-28, 29, and 30, those will be coming up, attaching 3 areas of the city of Fitchburg and creating 4 new voting wards.
So if we have to do with the attachment of the town of Madison,
Correct.
there's a few different area. I mean, it's all the same, roughly the same area. Well, I guess Zimbrook's different. So this first one is Zimbrook, which is north of Hatchery Road. And then the next couple will be more over in the Southdale neighborhood. But it's really just kind of, somebody's just paperwork that we have to do. Jay?
I know this is going to sound a little weird, but prior to you signing these, can we just run all 4 of these back to the planning department and have them double check the legal description of the property again? Because we've already been screwed on a messed up legal description back when the original agreement was signed. So I just want to make sure that everything is absolutely correct and nobody can come back with a lawsuit or anything. I trust planning department to get it right, but these, if you read through the ordinances, these legal descriptions are long. They have a lot of stupid words that nobody knows the definition to, and except for experts in that field. And I just want to be sure that everything is exactly correct.
Yeah. And Dana's online, so she heard that, and I know she will do that and verify that for us. Julia?
Sean, when the city was discussing with the city of Madison some of the borderline, have you discussed moving some of the south borderline north to the belt line, or no?
There's a couple of properties that we're in talks with them about, more along the North Hatchery Road corridor, but they don't really want to just give us land for and not get anything back. So there's not going to be significant changes. If something comes forward, the primary one is probably going to be the Engelhart property, because the line between Madison and Fitchburg goes through the middle of the building. That if it's in the front row, if something happens in the front door, you call Madison. If it happens in the back door, you call Fitchburg. So something like that. But in terms of big changes, it really would be them just giving us land, and without getting anything back, they're a little hesitant to do that. So I don't want to get too far into that. That's a different topic. But it's been broached, but it's not very popular. Joe?
And I'd like to talk about that in the future. Just to clarify, Area 22 is all business, right? No residential? Okay.
Correct. Yeah, there's no one that lives in this area. Yep. And tomorrow night would be a great time to ask those questions as well, because we're doing a Town of Madison update tomorrow night.
This point that Julia just made is exactly why I want to be sure those legal descriptions are right, because the fact that it was screwed up, the legal description of the Town of Madison was screwed up 20 years ago, is why we have this mess right now with these little parcels. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Seeing nothing. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay. That is approved. Next one, Randy.
Next one, motion to approve ordinance 2022-0-29, implementing the final attachment area of the Town of Madison, an ordinance by amending Chapter 2, city boundaries, wards, aldermanic districts, and elections, and attaching to the city property owned by Patrick Henry II, LLC, located at 313 West Beltline Highway, from now on referred to as the Genesis parcel, adding Ward 23 to include the entire Genesis parcel, and attaching Ward 23 to the 3rd Aldermanic District.
Second.
Sent by Jade. Planning Commission approved.
Planning Commission approved.
All right. And this one, it's really the same thing, except this is a property. There is one small piece of land in the Southdale neighborhood that is actually in the city of Madison now, and that 20 years ago was decided that would come to Fitchburg when this happens. It almost looks like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern tooth kind of hanging down. So it's just businesses there. No one lives on this little lot either.
Right.
Any questions? All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay. That one's approved. Next one, Randy.
All right. Motion to approve ordinance 2022-0-30, implementing the final attachment area of the town of Madison and ordinance by amending Chapter 2, city boundaries, wards, aldermanic districts, and elections, and attaching to the city an area generally located west of Rimrock Road, south of West Beltline Highway, east of Highway 14, and north of Mulhoney Drive, and from now on referred to as the Southdale area, adding Ward 24 and Ward 25 to include the entire Southdale area, attaching Ward 24 and Ward 25 to the 3rd Aldermanic District.
Second.
Sent by Jay. The Plan Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
All right. And this is really just kind of the main Southdale area.
Correct. It's the
Approving that to come to Fitchburg. Julia?
What is why there is a 24 and 25? Why is no whole 24?
If I remember correctly, the county supervisor line goes right through the middle of it.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Anything else? See nothing else? All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, that one's approved. Next one, Randy.
Next one, motion to approve ordinance 2022-0-31, adopting the city boundaries to include lands attached from the town of Madison and the city of Madison in accordance with the city of Madison, City of Fitchburg, and town of Madison cooperative plan.
Second.
Sent by Jay. The Plan Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
And what's this for?
Well, the final attachment of the portions of the town and the city of Madison accruing to the city of Fitchburg will be adopted into 3 ordinances, which I just described, 2022-0-28, 29, and 30, corresponding to discrete areas of the town and the city of Madison, city of Madison being the portion of the Jenison parcel. This ordinance finally adopts the city boundaries that include the former town of Madison, city of Madison lands. This ordinance, if approved, becomes effective October 30th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m.
So it's kind of the umbrella over those.
That's correct, of all the other 3 previous ordinances. Yep.
Okay, now that we got those in. Okay.
Are you going to be up watching the clock?
Maybe, yeah. We've heard this so many times.
All right. I don't see any other questions. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. That one's approved. Next one, Randy.
All right. Motion to approve ordinance 2022-0-35, RZ-2474-22, zoning ordinance amendment, amending specific implementation plan zoning by Jennifer Roman, agent for Sinq Turi LLC, to amend PD-SIP zoning to allow for alteration of accessory uses and site design at 5453 Gunflint Trail.
Second.
Sent by Jay. The Plan Commission approve?
Plan Commission approved.
And what's this one?
Well, this proposal is to allow an existing residence to be turned into accessory structure cottages, increases the number of total allowable structures, increases the allowable gross floor area, and increase the number of parking stalls from the original proposal that was originally approved.
This is the USONA Institute of Promega.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
there's
turning them into more cottages. Or a couple.
Well, there's 2 homes up there that they're including. Yeah, they're building 2, but there's 2 up there, and so they're just including those 2 as part of the USONA Institute, and I think doing a little bit enhancement to them. Yeah. Dave?
I would just add, there was a very nice article about that in the paper on Sunday about that.
Yep, there was. All right, anything else? Seeing nothing else, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. All right, that's all you got, Randy. Sorry.
12 items.
Try and do a little more next time.
All right, Jay, I can find something else
All
to
right.
read.
Let's go to Public Works.
I move approval of Resolution R-170-22, authorizing the purchase of street light parts for future repairs.
Second.
Sent by Jay. The Public Works approve.
Public Works approved.
The Finance approve.
Finance approved.
All right, and what's this?
We're finding that we have long lead times trying to get repair parts for our lights. An example, why would we need repair parts? A car may hit one of our poles and knock it down and damage it, or, there could be any number of things. And we're just finding, if we try to order these as they happen, the lead times are too long. So Public Works would like to order, get a certain stock of these so that we can make the repairs quickly. In the example I gave you, if a car, would hit one and knock it down, assuming the car didn't speed away, we would bill their insurance for the replacement part. We have funds, maintenance budget to purchase these right now.
All right, any questions at all?
I actually have a question that's not directly related to this, and I do not expect you to know the answer to this.
That'd be a good assumption.
Probably also relates to planning. I noticed, and I didn't have a chance to look, but I noticed I thought that our ordinance required 0 cutoff fixtures for street lighting. But then I noticed in Uptown, there's a lot of fixtures, a lot of streetlight fixtures that are just big glowing orbs in the middle of the sky. So I'm not sure how that happened, but if someone could look into that.
Yeah, I think either Deanna or Misty can pass it along and get an answer for that.
Good question, Jay.
Seeing no other questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And if you're opposed, say nay. That was approved. We already did number 2, so number 3, Dave.
Is this one ours? Action item, I move approval to rescind the referral of R-17622 to Park Commission.
Second.
Sent by Randy, and so this was referred to Park Commission, but Park Commission didn't have a meeting until this. I think you've talked about this in Parks.
Yeah, we talk, but we never vote for that, but yeah, we are not going to send it back, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think if it did, then just the way the meetings would go, it would delay it a lot, just because of the way the meeting time dates are. So they've talked about it, they know about it. It's not a surprise to Park Commission. So, all right, any questions on this? All right, all in favor of rescinding the referral, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. And now, next one, Dave.
Move approval, R-17622, second amendment to the Crescent Crossing Subdivision Improvement Agreement related to park improvements and fees.
Second.
Sent by Jay. Did Public Works approve?
Public Works approved.
Did Finance approve?
Finance approved.
And what's this one?
This is an agreement between the city and the developer. They will be completing the dog park and the smaller park in the area. They will be doing that work, to our standards. And agreement has been negotiated, basically some of this in lieu of park dedication fees.
All right. Any questions at all? Comments?
Comment, anything that unburdens our city staff, I'm happy to forward.
All right. Seeing nothing else, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. Next one.
I move approval resolution R-17722, authorizing acceptance of the 2022 McKee Road pavement marking bid.
Second.
Sent by Gabriella. Did Public Works approve?
Public Works approved.
Did Finance approve?
Finance approved.
And what's this one?
I believe it was 5 years ago when the road was redone. The county used the water-based paint for putting the markings down, lane markings and different things along there, and that was the wrong choice and has not held up. And now without these markings, it's a safety hazard on the road. So we've gone out for bids using epoxy-based paint on here to get this back up to our standards. We are expecting a lifetime of in the neighborhood of 10 years with these markings, or 7 to 10. But water-based did not last very long. Just a disappointment, I guess, is what I would say.
All right. Kira?
One thing I asked Bill at Finance I thought was interesting is this section of road has a lot of speeding issues because of the incline. And I asked if there was anything that the markings will do to improve that. And he said, actually, yes. Right now the lanes are 12 feet and they are reducing the size to 11 feet and 10 feet. And then also creating a little bit of more buffer for the bike lanes. And the narrower lanes typically reduce speed naturally from drivers. So FYI.
Thank you for adding that. That's a very, very pertinent comment.
All right, I got Randy and then Jay.
I have a question maybe I should have asked Bill at Finance, but I'll ask Dave. I'm not sure if you know the answer, but we've referenced the 7 to 10 year life of the markings. What happens if it's chip seal? Then it's in 5 years. I mean, I'm guessing that chip seal is put down more frequent than 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, if chip seal is put down, all bets are off, you know.
Yeah,
Painting
so,
over the
okay.
top of that.
So we'll be back in less than 5.
I
Yeah, I mean, it's just a given.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, if we had done epoxy when we first did it, you know, I think we would have got a longer life. But
Yeah,
you're right. Once we chip seal, then we have to remark.
sure, okay.
Jay? And Jim.
So the history of this road is that it was previously a county highway. And several years ago, the county basically played hardball and said, because the county didn't build it to the correct standard originally, it had to be reconstructed way before it should have been reconstructed. And so the county then played hardball and said, well, we'll fix it if you guys take over responsibility for it, which is a deal we should never have agreed to, but we did it anyway. Did we, in the process of doing all this, did we require the county to warranty this road for a minimum amount of time since it's a gigantic construction project?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so, but even if we did, I don't think those warranties are ever more than 3 years. At least, you know, if you look at the standard workmanship, you know, in the infrastructure in our subdivisions, I think we only get a 3-year. Now, you were probably right. We could have negotiated with the county. You know, I was on the board then, and we were mad, but they kind of had us over a barrel there, and we negotiated the best we could. But I do not believe we have a warranty on that agreement. I can ask, know who would know. Let me ask Tom Clowder, see what he recalls about that, because he was the main battler with the county.
Jim, do you have a?
Yeah, Randy, to your point, we talked about this in Public Works. You know, part of the problem was when you use the chip seal, using that water-based paint, the paint does not adhere too well to the chip seal. So that's why we are going to the epoxy, so should last a lot longer.
No, I understand that, but the point that I'm making is, the point was that the life expectancy of the striping is 7 to 10 years, but we always chip seal less than 7 years. So we will be back. I don't know what the chip seal, if it's every 5 years on McKee Road, I would think it'd be more frequent.
I mean, it's at 5 right now and the paint's
Is it at
off,
5?
so I guess
Yeah.
it's more than 5.
So we will be back in 5 years to stripe again.
Right.
Yeah.
I see your point.
That was the point that I was making, so.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but
But thank you, though. Yeah.
it doesn't
Back
matter.
to Jay's point.
Probably. Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on. All right. All right.
Say back.
All right. Can we go ahead and vote? Are
you
we
go.
done beating this?
All in
We're all going to vote yes on anyway. All right. All right. All in favor, say
Aye.
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 any opposed, say nay. All right. That's approved. Next one, Dave.
Move approval of Resolution R-178-22, accepting a public stormwater easement on Lot 23 of the plat of Tech Lands.
Second.
Sent by Gabriella. Did Public Works approve?
Public Works approved.
Plan approve.
Plan approved.
All right. And this one?
The stormwater easement originally was planned along a property border that has a large row of trees. And an agreement was reached with Promega to allow it at a different location so that those trees would not be disturbed. So this is providing the city with this stormwater easement through this land. There was no cost to the city to obtain this stormwater easement.
All right. Any questions? Seeing nothing, then all in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. All right, thank you, Dave. We can move on to Park Commission.
No report.
All right, what about Library Board?
We don't have a lot to report. We did do a review of our library director, as is required every year. And library usage is continuing to increase. Guess things are starting to get back to normal, so everything's looking good.
Excellent. Commissioner on Aging Well.
You heard about our positive news on the fundraising for Misty. They saw the event. We had a great event down there tonight. The band was playing. It was well attended. I can't say enough about that event. It was really, really nice. And we had our meeting previous to the meeting before the last council meeting, so I don't have anything else to add.
All right. And I know they were having a party earlier right before the meeting as well. Some people went and got cake right before the meeting. All right. Yeah. Maybe. I passed on the opportunity tonight. RCC.
No report.
All right. What about TTC?
No report.
All right. CETA.
Yes, last month we had a presentation on site selection, what companies look for in site selection, and a lot of that is the preparation, boring holes, and all that other kind of stuff, soil samples. So this month we had a presentation on some software that we can get to actually get data to see that we can present to companies. So for example, we have Target there, we have property, across the street or whatever. We can get data, we can get this company to provide us with data of who's coming, how far away they're coming, what the demographics and everything else, so that we can go out and actually recruit companies and say, hey, we have this site, we think it'll be perfect for you. It's a cost to it, of course, but it's, subscription based. But with that being said, I said it before that Mike and Joyce does a really good job of trying to recruit companies to come here. And they're kind of behind the eight ball because they do not have those tools that they can really put together a great project or, a great proposal to give to companies that's already prepared for them, and they can go out and kind of market, Fitchburg. So I think it's time we need to really look at these tools and actually give them and, those ability to really market Fitchburg, because, we need to market, Fitchburg to bring in more businesses, because that expands our tax base. But right now, like I said, they're doing it all manually and everything else, trying to really market it. And, we're in competition. I mean, you look at Verona right now where Costco is. I mean, there's all kind of building going on. They're filling that space up, really fast. So there's a lot of competition out there, and we really need to put ourselves on top.
All right. Thank you. How about Ag and Rural Affairs?
Ag and Rural Affairs met last week. We discussed the Farmland Preservation Act, which is up for renewal through the county, state, and I think it's due in October, a period of time. I think October, late October. Anyway, and then beyond that, we discussed issues that they had concerns over, and Jim Wheeler and myself were present and tried to answer their questions.
All right. Thank you. EMS?
So just a couple of things with EMS. We approved more sick time and vacation time, a couple more days. And we also went over the dental. We have a cheaper rate, so that's even better for the folks in EMS. And we're right on track where we're supposed to be as far as financing or billing and run rates and all that. So that's all I got.
Is there an annual meeting still in October? Are we still doing that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be the third Thursday, right? October
Yep.
20th? Okay.
Wait, you know what? I'll have to let you know. I think so.
Okay.
I think it is.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Seeing nothing else. How about Bike Committee?
Yeah, our next meeting is October 4th, 7:30 a.m. Phil's off of family leave for a little while. So he'll be joining us. A couple events I just wanted to plug. So Pick Me Up at the Border was last Friday. I was not able to make it. I was out of town, but heard good things about it. There is going to be a community dinner in the Allied area, and that'll be this coming Friday. But before that, there's going to be a whole bunch of things going on. There'll be some voter registration efforts by League of Women Voters, and at the same time, there's going to be a bike repair event in Allied Park, which is in the Madison side of the neighborhood, and that will be from, I believe, 2 to 6. So if anybody wants to get their bike fixed and learn how to do it, they can do that. There's also going to be another event on Thursday, the 13th, also in Allied Park, and that'll be from 3 to 7 p.m. And then finally, this Friday, Friday, October 7th, there's a researcher on dyslexia who is also a children's book author. His name's Dr. Sean Anthony Robinson. He's actually going to be biking from his home in Oshkosh to the Wheel and Sprocket here in Fitchburg. So it'll be to promote dyslexia awareness and it's a fundraiser basically. And he should be arriving in Fitchburg around 3 or 4, depending on how fast he rides. So if somebody has an interest in joining, get in touch with me and I can tell you where he'll be. And he has a children's series book called Dr. Dyslexia Dude. So if anybody's interested in learning about dyslexia, feel free to look him up.
Schedule the wind from the north that day.
Yes.
Cheryl, question?
Joe, could you send those out in an email just so, yeah, thank you.
All right. Shannon, question?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Is he done with it?
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch back on the EMS.
Yeah. Your microphone is malfunctioning.
My phone's not anywhere near it. Okay. The annual meeting is October 20th at 7 p.m. We encourage anybody who wants to come from council is welcome.
All right.
That's it. Thank you.
All right. All right. How about tree advisory?
No report.
All right. Landmarks?
No report.
How about housing advisory?
No report.
All right. What about healthy neighborhoods?
Well, we still have no report, and last meeting I had mentioned that we were going to have our next meeting resuming on October 5th, but that in fact is not going to happen. It's now been moved to November 2nd.
You got a couple of new people now.
We do have new people now. It's so
All right.
exciting.
All right. How about finance committee?
Nothing else to report.
Do you want to do your second resolution?
Yes. Jumping down in my notes here. Motion to approve Resolution R-180-22 approving the Town of Madison Assets and Liabilities Apportionment Agreement between the City of Madison and the City of Fitchburg.
Second.
Sent by Jay. And let's speak this.
No, actually, Misty has agreed to speak to this one.
Perfect.
Just because of the complexity.
Absolutely. So I won't go into quite as much detail as I did at Finance Committee, but if there are questions, obviously let me know. The agreement is included in the packet, and then there's a staff memo that hits kind of the high points. The ones in particular that I think you'll be interested in is the standard apportionment. So when we take over the town, a portion's going to come to City of Fitchburg, a portion's going to come to the City of Madison. The two cities have been working together really well to come to an agreement on how this will all wrap up, because the town of Madison will own things and they will owe money at the end when they go away. So we looked at the 3 different ways that we could split it, and all of them were right around that 75-25 split. So we thought it was easiest if we just made it a flat 75-25 split from a record-keeping perspective, because all of those were in that same ballpark. The other piece I think you're interested in the most is the town hall. So the town hall property, under the original agreement, city had the first right to say that we want that to be on our side of the ledger. We'd still have to account for that in that final appropriation if we do move that to our side. But the city of Fitchburg wasn't interested. After discussions with staff and elected officials, we didn't really have a use for that building, especially since it's currently in the city of Madison. City of Madison was very interested in the building. So we came to an agreement where we did an appraisal a couple years back. Because the market has changed so much, we did an updated appraisal recently. And then the City of Madison is going to pay us in cash the 25% share of the town hall building. It worked out to about $607,000. The plan in this resolution is we would take that money, put it in the Town of Madison CIP project, and just hold it there. Because we don't know what's going to happen when this all comes out in the end. I think that we're going to end up owing some money, and it'll be really great having that extra cushion there to help us blow that and not put that burden onto our taxpayers. So my plan is that we'll go through the final wrap-up. Obviously, it'll take longer than a month to get through all of this. We'll do a final stub audit. We'll go through the equipment, figure out who's got what. So I hope that we'll have that all figured out by the second quarter of next year, but it might take through the end of the year. And then at that point, we'll be able to take that money, put that towards our obligation, and then the council can decide how you want to spend any amount that's left. So there's a lot of other detail in that agreement. Happy to answer any questions, but I think those are the two you're most interested in.
Julia, go ahead.
I have a couple of questions. Do you know when the final audit financial are going to be done?
Yep, so they're doing a stub audit as of October 30th. It's already under contract.
Okay.
The hope is that it will be done by March.
March. Okay. So do you have any clue how much are going to be the liability and asset?
So the biggest dollar amount is the external debt. So when the town goes away, they have about $1 million that they still owe to the state for trust fund loans.
Okay.
And so we have to pay 25% of that. So I think that's the biggest obligation that we have. And then there's other things. There's equipment and desks and all of that stuff, which will probably have an amount coming in for us, but I suspect will not hit that amount that we'll owe for our share of the debt. And then the severance payments that we've all talked about, we have to pay 25% of that. And then we're hiring the current town administrator / finance director / whatever to help us through all of this closeout stuff. And so we have to pay 25% of that obligation as well.
But we don't know yet how much is it.
We don't. So there's still so many things that just aren't known. And then as we go through the equipment too, there might be some things that Fitchburg wants to take with us, and the value of that will come out of our side of the accounting. So if we take a lot of the equipment, that might increase the amount that we have to owe.
Have you done a physical inventory of the stuff that they have in the warehouses?
So we haven't done a full inventory. We have their fixed asset list for all of the big things. So we've gone through that. And then we're doing a final walkthrough the day that we absorb the town.
Okay.
And like our staff from both cities have gone to the town hall to look at the equipment that's there and kind of get a feeling for what they are interested in and what they aren't. We'll make that final determination on the 31st.
And who is doing the audit?
Baker Tilly, which is great because they've been the long-term auditor for the town, but they also are the City of Madison auditor and the City of Fitchburg auditor.
Okay.
So it'll be really nice having somebody that can translate all of that information to all three parties.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? I don't see anything else, so we can go ahead to a vote then. We get a little technical issue here, picking up on the radio station, I think. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. Anything else you want to add on finance, Randy?
No, nothing else to add.
All right, personnel.
Personnel Committee meets tomorrow, September 28th at 4 p.m. And there's a couple things on the agenda, including the 2022 market poll discussion. We're going to look at the going rates for different positions and see if we need to make updates going into the budget next year. Updating the title of a police position, and then also we're going to roll out a supplemental accident benefit insurance for 2023, and then also talk a little bit about the Public Works recruitment update. So I can report back on what the summary of that is next time. But if you're interested, meeting 4 p.m. tomorrow.
All right. Anything else in public safety?
No.
All right. Then there's no unfinished business, no new business, no report. Static and feedback here on our end. Hopefully it's not too bad online. A few things. Misty mentioned that budget is out. I'll just slide over to the, okay.
Bluetooth off in his phone.
All right, now we're working again. All right, so budget is out. Obviously, Misty mentioned the meetings next week. So if you have questions, and you'll see a big focus on staff and taking care of our staff in there. Also, staff-related news, if you did not hear or public does not know, Bill Belkey has announced his retirement effective in January. So Public Works is going to be looking for a new director, but I want to thank Bill for all his many years as a city of Fitchburg employee and a lot of major projects he's worked on that will have a big impact for a long time here. So just wanted to thank Bill for everything that he has given the city. He's still around for a while, though. So if you see him, make sure to thank him and congratulate him on that. And then a reminder, the mayoral awards are October 12th. I haven't gotten a call back from who I want to recognize as the business, but I will actually tell you who I'm going to recognize as a citizen, and that is Jake Johnson, who has done a lot of different things in the city, been in a lot of different projects, helped out with things like the inclusive playground, the splash pad, the dog park, and many other things as well. And then for the staff recognition, I'm going to recognize the streets department that is led by Mark Hodel, and they are when you talk about customer service, I don't think you can get better customer service than that department. They just do a great job, very responsive, and do a great job taking care of our streets as well. So those two and a business to be announced are going to be the people that will be recognized. All right, going on to all the reports, it would be starting with District 2 today. Julia.
So what I want to do is, because it's to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm going to celebrate some of our Latinos neighbors in Fitchburg. So one of them is Attorney General Gloria Lopez. She's a U.S. immigration lawyer. She assists individual, families, and corporate clients, and a student and member of the LGBTQ community. Her experience includes extensive work with individual, family, employment, and businesses-based petition and consular processing, citizenship, and removal defense. She's an ardent advocate for comprehensive immigration reform. Attorney Lopez maintains ongoing contact with members of the Wisconsin Congressional Delegation in Washington, D.C., regarding issues such as comprehensive immigration reform, H-1B, DACA, and family and employment-based immigration reform. She has earned a solid reputation as one of the top immigration attorneys in Wisconsin and in the United States. She has been included in the list of the best lawyers in America since 2005, including Madison Lawyer of the Year in 2022, 2019, 2016, and 2013. So she was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and she pursued her education in the United States. And another neighbor that I want to recognize is Marianne Maldonado. She's an entrepreneur, so the last names sound familiar to some of you. Marianne was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. She has been part of the Madison Fitchburg community for 17 years. In 2019, she opened Luna Grocery store in an area considered a food desert in Madison, borderline with the city of Fitchburg, in one of the Madison neighborhood, and closed the grocery gap in a light drive down Marsh neighborhood. For a long time, the neighborhood had no grocery store. When Luna's opened in 2019, the local co-op's grocery store had been closed for nearly 10 years. So the store serves a community with multiple ethnic enclaves, where half of the residents are Black and Hispanic, and customers can expect a Spanish-speaking worker to grade and assist them. So Marianne had the vision to bring a grocery store in an area that was underserved for these services. And for that, she's an Orgullo Latino. That's it.
All right, thank you. Cheryl.
One thing, a reminder about the 2022 Fall Recycling Event on October 15th. That's a Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m., confidential paper recycling and shredding, and electronic recycling of a wide variety of materials that you can find online. Thanks.
All right, Jay.
So we had our last Fun in the Park event in the town of Madison last week, and the last year has been an interesting journey with the Southdale neighborhood. Last January, February, March, the residents of that neighborhood were absolutely terrified and angry at what they thought Fitchburg was going to do to them. And over the last 9-10 months, with all of the outreach that we've done, and granted it's been on a rather compressed schedule, but it's made a difference. People are not as, there's still a little bit on pins and needles over there, but the residents are seeing that we're reaching out and we're doing what we can to help. So I want to personally thank the members of the council who have shown up at the various events between the library events and the Fun in the Park events, the other public hearings, Madison Metro meetings, the votes that this council has taken to support that neighborhood. And I also want to thank all of the city staff members who have shown up and been a part of what's gone on over there. Pretty much every city department has had representatives in that neighborhood to talk with the residents and to give a hands-on experience that neighborhood was not getting for a long, long time from the town of Madison. So that was really all I had, is just thanks to all who have made this a better experience for the residents of that neighborhood.
Agreed. Shannon.
No report.
All right, Jim.
I did a ride along with the firefighters in Station 2, and it was really interesting. You know, you always want to get a perspective from the line. But one of the things I noticed, and if you look at their reports, you know, they have 42 shifts to fill, you know, each month. And one of the things, like when I was a manager with the police department, that you always look at is our order-ins, because that is one of the ways that you can really break morale, because, you know, some people, you know, in public safety, you know, they have schedules, they have kids and everything else like that. So when you're starting to order in people, or, you know, mandatory overtime, as you call it, you know, that's not really a good thing. And, you know, you could just look at the numbers, and, you know, they say it's okay now. You know, I asked about morale and everything else like that, and they said they're doing fine. But that is a watch out as the city grows. And when you look at the paid on call, you know, you may think you have a lot. You know, they brought this up, like 66 members, I think. But how many members actually show up when there's an all call? And they said it's usually about 20 to 30 people. So that's another number you got to look at. You know, that's kind of like misleading. You know, you got a lot of people on that payroll or on that roster, but how many people really show up? The other thing that I thought was a watch out was EMS, when they talked to them, and, you know, a concern about the increase in calls that they're going to receive from the town of Madison. Right now, when they talk to Madison firefighters, they're averaging 4 or 5 calls, you know, a day. And when you look at that, as you know, when the EMS call goes out, usually it's going to be an ambulance rig and also an engine. So that empties out a fire station. And when you look at the logistics, what does that mean? That means you got one fire station that's now covering the whole city. And, you know, there's some other intricacies in there also, you know, since Fitchburg is a ALS, Advanced Life Support ambulance. And in the county, the closest one goes. So they can actually be at St. Mary's or whatever, and if a call comes in and they require ALS, you know, the nearest ambulance is going to go. So, I mean, those are just things as we, you know, talk about the town of Madison, as we talk about expansion, that we got to look at public safety. And, you know, we got to make sure that we are providing our workers with the tools they need, and we got to make sure that we're looking out for their mental health. Because one thing, you know, like I said, as a manager, when you get into some of these situations and you see how people live and the conditions they have to live in is not really pleasant. And we got to make sure we look out for their mental health. So that's it.
All right, Randy.
As it's been mentioned last week, the Fun in the Park, there was an event that Mayor Richardson and I attended. Wheel and Sprocket donated a bike repair stand and whatever else, the accessories that go with it. It's a substantial donation, and Adam Clark, I believe that's the gentleman's name, the general manager, was there to accept the recognition and present it to the city. And I should also mention that former Mayor Arnold kind of led that particular charge. And then on a different note, Oak Bank is sponsoring their annual pumpkin giveaway on October 8th from 9 to noon. And it's a $5 contribution, and it benefits the Wisconsin Youth Symphony Orchestra. So if you're looking for something to do on October 8th, 9 to noon, Oak Bank. It's a great event for children. I think they have face painting and other things as well. So.
All right, thanks. Dave.
As Joe mentioned, Allied Duns Marsh Neighborhood Association, we have our community meal at Boys and Girls Club at 5:30 on Friday. So anyone in the neighborhood, please come and meet your neighbor. Our community garden cleanup is probably going to be October 22nd. If anyone wants a photo opportunity, like the Field of Dreams, the corn there is so big. I was there on a cloudy day. I was a little worried there might be a giant coming down one of those stalks. In the last, not particularly germane to, well, I guess it's related to Fitchburg. On the Madison side of our border, a liquor store was proposed, and to Joe and my, we're both very happy to hear that the Madison, they unanimously denied that. It still has to go before their council, but Allied Duns Marsh Neighborhood put out a statement, saying they're not in favor of it, and we hope that a different business will go there and view that decision very positively. That's all.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I just want to add a little context to Dave as well. So Alder Yannette Figueroa Cole, she's the alder in the Madison side of the neighborhood. She actually held a listening session with the proposed owner of the store. So, I mean, he's really young. He's like 22. He's an immigrant, doesn't speak English, so he needed an interpreter. And really just kind of interested in starting a business, but I don't think he had a lot of background knowledge and kind of understanding of like the neighborhood and what the neighborhood need and didn't need. So although there was a lot of criticism lobbed his way, everybody there was very empathetic and saying that it's not personal. It's just, this isn't a good business for this neighborhood. So, City of Madison staff connected him with their economic development department, just so that, if he wants to start a business like that, then, find a place where it's not going to affect a lot of vulnerable residents. Maybe put it in a commercial area. So I just say all that to say, when we're making decisions about where we put things and the impacts that it's going to have on people, just to, make sure we're kind of keeping that human component there and, talking to people and figuring out the best solution while also, not necessarily alienating people, because he had good intentions of, wanting to go into business for himself, but just it wasn't the right place. So, thanks for all of the neighborhood association, all the folks that chimed in and gave their input.
All right, thank you, everyone. Committee of the Whole tomorrow night. Randy, what's on the agenda?
Chad Brecklin, City Administrator Chad Brecklin, will be giving a Town of Madison update.
All right, next council meeting is in a couple weeks. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
By Jay, seconded by Randy. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay? We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.